Welcome back to the show. Now, the Public-Private Partnership Unit under the Ministry of Finance will host that is a stakeholder engagement session and a Public-Private Partnership Foundation training. This event will bring together 40 officials and leadership from key institutions, including that is, the Khomas Regional Council, the City of Windhoek, Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, and a couple of others, And this event is to promote, public-private collaboration and sustainable service delivery in the country. We are so happy this morning that Deputy Director of Capacity Building and Outreach Division under the Public-Private Partnership Unit is here this morning. That is Madam Hileni Stefanus. A very good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Nicole?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I think before we go into, the nitty-gritties, maybe it's only fair for our viewers to establish, what is a public-private partnership and how does it differ now, from a public procurement or privatization? What's the difference there?
All right. Thank you very much, Nicole. Public-private partnership, it's, in a nutshell, it's a procurement process, just like all the, it's a procurement option, actually. Mm-hmm. The difference is that with public-private partnership, it is a contractual agreement between a public entity and also a private entity in which they come together to provide for the private sector to play into the place of the public entity, either by constructing infrastructure or delivering services, which should be for use either directly or indirectly by the public. And this investment or management of the public asset should be undertaken by the private sector. And it should have a specified time frame, of which should be at least 10 years or to 35. The reason for allowing that is to enable the private sector, of course, to recoup investment from such particular infrastructure, and also to pass on some of the risk that the government is currently carrying onto the shoulders of the private sectors, also just to relieve the government from that, that burden, and also to allow, the partnership should include a component whereby the private sector is being compensated according to the performance. Unlike with the public procurement, whereby sometimes we pay based on progression that has been made, but then the asset is not delivering any service. With the private with the PPP, the good thing is that private sector carry that responsibility to deliver the asset, and only when the asset starts to operate, that's then when the state starts to pay.
Payment can be made.
Yeah, payment can be made either directly by the users, or it can be paid by the state. By the users, it means that the private sector will have then to operate that facility and collect revenue. That's the revenue translating to the payment. Well, the difference is that with public procurement, the asset or services is bought directly. But with a PPP, government partner with a private sector for a long period, and then through that risk sharing and management, then financing being undertaken by the private sector. That is now where it differs, unlike where the public budget has to cover all the cost. With privatization, well, you mentioned about it, that is completely selling off the asset to be undertaken or to be managed by the private sector, and there's no duration with the privatization. That's where they differ.
There's a difference there.
Yeah, that's
All right,
the difference.
Thank you, Madam Stefanus. I mean, ultimately, I think we also want to know here this morning who is responsible for overseeing, PPP projects within the country.
Thank you very much. The institution responsible for overseeing PPP project is, of course, the Ministry of Finance, and they do that through the Public-Private Partnership Committee. We have a committee, and the committee is served by the PPP Unit as a secretariat. So the unit constitutes of members that are not from the ministry. Yeah, they are external members. So they have an external overview. So the role that they play is quite independent from the operations of the ministry, making it very effective in terms of governance, because then it's not the government that is steering everything, but there's rather an advisor on a side.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Thank you.
I also want to talk about some laws and policies also, governing PPPs in the country. When was it established, for instance, and which laws or policies would these be?
All right. The policy, we have got the Public-Private Partnership Act number 4, or that one came into operation in, it was enacted by Parliament in 2017 and only came into operations in December 2018. That's when it was gazetted. This act speaks more to the functions of the committee and the processes that should be followed for the PPP projects to be implemented. And then, of course, we have the PPP guideline. This was developed or came into operations in 2018. We have got also manual guidelines, as well as the policy document that is in place. And of course, of late in 2023, the unsolicited proposal guideline came into play, because it came to close the gap whereby public entities were the only ones that were bringing the projects forward. So the USP, or the unsolicited proposal guideline, provides that window for the private sectors to come in as well, so that they can give, they can bring projects forward, and then if they are aligned with our national development plans and also our priorities, and then it's entertained in that manner.
All right. Thank you, Madam Stefanus.
Right,
which projects typically qualify, as PPPs under the Namibian framework?
Thank you very much for that question. That's a good one. We can look at sectors such as water and logistics, transport and logistics, water and sanitation, of course, thank you, and also health. But sectors such as education, those are also good ones, and tourism and housing, as well as ICT. But almost, I would say, all sectors would qualify for PPP, although we should be cautious that not all PPP projects can qualify to be implemented as PPP. That's the tricky one.
Okay.
Yeah, but all sectors cross-cutting, they are suitable for PPP project. So all public entities should feel free.
But there's a criteria that needs to be met.
There are criteria that we did, because it requires screening. Looking at the PPP project from far, and you may not be able to tell the gaps. And only when you start to conduct screening and coming closer to the project that you would realize that, oh, I think with the population of Namibia, this specific project might not qualify, for example, but might work in a country with a larger population, for example. And also, yes, certain aspect comes into play. Really for one to decide.
And it's very interesting you should mention that, Madam Stefanus, and I'm so happy because there is a stakeholder engagement session that is happening, and I want to talk about this because all these matters and things can be addressed, or context can be given and information can be shared. And I'm happy you could start with us this morning to give us some information. Talk to us about this session. When is it going to be hosted? What are you planning? What does the program look like? Okay. Maybe also talk to us about who some of your stakeholders are that you've teamed up with.
Of course. All right. Thank you very much. The session is going to start tomorrow. We will have an engagement whereby we will just target key stakeholders in public entities that are already identified. We have got the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development. We have invited them. And of course, their babies, which is the Khomas Regional Council. And we have also just extended invitation to City of Windhoek, of which they're one of the public entities that we already engaging in terms of PPP projects with. So The program for tomorrow is going to be a half day. And then from there, we'll kickstart now with the actual training, which will target now the officials from the institutions. Of course, NIPDB will be joining us. And we have also extended invitation to Ministry of Health and also Katima Mulilo Town Council, because they also are interested in implementing one of, it's the solar, the sewer, treatment plant, sewer treatment plant with the ministry, of course, through PPP. So we are busy with that project now to see if it's suitable. We are not saying it's ready yet because it's really at the infant stage. I think those are the institutions, because we try harder to reach as few public entities as possible so that we can have enough number of participants and really just focus on sector specific most of the time, or just try to give public entities that attention so that they can be able to understand how to identify.
And what are your outcomes? What are you hoping for? Certain outcomes that you're hoping for?
My biggest expectation is that the ministry at least will get some project ideas so that we can start working on them, because as I told you already that you cannot tell if the project is ready for implementing through PPP. So we need to do as many screening as possible, and through screening, we will then have to undertake a feasibility study. And once feasibility studies are ready, that's when we go to the market to sell off the project for the private sector to participate, because private sectors will not be able to participate in project when you don't have feasibility studies, because they need to see how feasible is this project idea so that they can equally sell it to the market, because they have to go to the market to raise the capital. That's
right. So we did say it's tomorrow. What time does this session start?
We'll start a bit late, because we are starting around 9 o'clock, and then it will run up to 1 o'clock. And then from there, the training will be running, of course, the normal working hours, 8 to 5.
All right. Madam Stefanus, I don't know if you still have anything else that you want to leave us with, your last words, or was that it from your side?
Well, I just want to say public entities should not suffer in silence. Of course, government budget will not be able to cover all our needs. So let's come forward, share what we have, and then see if we can be able to open doors for the private sector to participate, because it's really important that we allow private sector to offload some of this burden from the government so that we can be able to improve our livelihood and, of course, create employment and just, in overall, stimulate the economy. Thank you.
I hope your event is all you want it to be tomorrow. All the best, and thank you for your time, Ms. Stefanus.
Stefanus.
Yes.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Right.